Welcome to the definitive K-pop rapper tier list as of 2024, and I'm saying that with pure confidence. Before you skip to your fave in the chapters, if you could just give me 30 minutes to explain everything you need to know about this tier list, I'd greatly appreciate it. And hey, while you are here watching, feel free to give me a sub if you are interested in K-pop rapping at all. I cover a bunch of cool K-pop raps since everybody always sleeps on K-pop rapping, and there's actually some cool stuff that happens in here. I digress. If you want to help us hit 100,000 subs, I would really appreciate it. Let's get into some of the caveats before we dive into the list. So, firstly, I know what I'm talking about, and it feels really redundant to have to say that, but a lot of people don't believe me when I say that. I have listened to every single rapper in those timestamps, and every single release that I could possibly know of in those timestamps at some point. I'm very well versed. Now, this is through SoundCloud, this is through unreleased stuff, this is through features, this is through B-sides, this is through obviously title tracks. All of these rappers have some hidden releases, or majority of them, and I'm very well versed, and I've heard the vast majority of these raps. So I do know quite a bit about what I'm talking about. Now, if you're going to argue that your fave should be higher in the comments, you're more than welcome to it. I'll dive into that in a minute. But please, I would ask you to actually listen to some of the unreleased stuff, especially, and like do a deep dive into the rappers that you're trying to put them above, because there's probably a good reason why I have them lower than somebody you think they should be higher than. Now, this, if you haven't gotten the idea yet, I'm not making this video to hype up anybody's certain fave. This has nothing to do with my faves, your faves. I had to actually bump one of my faves down. If you're a Changbin lover like me, I am so sorry he actually moved down a spot compared to last year. We'll get there when we get there, though, but I had to do that to myself. I'm not here to coddle you and, pump up your faves. I'm just trying to be real about the actual technicalities of the stuff that's going on in the rapping on the songs. Now, I'm going to try to do that as respectfully as possible, but obviously me saying something negative about your fave might not transfer well, because I'm going to cover bad stuff too, especially as we get to the bottom of this list. Now, again, you have to take that with a grain of salt too, because I am doing this live when I was streaming to my Twitch audience. You're welcome to join us in the future. It's twitch.tv/KPOP. I'd love to see you, but just keep in mind, I'm going to be taking a few pauses, talking to my Twitch chat, when they come in and like bug me and stuff. So just keep all that in mind as we're going through this. And I'd love to see you in a Twitch stream in the future. Moving on to the last two things, the rappers are included here. I didn't mention this in the video. So the rappers who are being included are the active rappers, right? So while G-Dragon and Top might be legendary in K-pop, they're not here because Big Bang is not active at the moment, and neither of them are active as soloists. And that goes for many, many, many rappers. Ravi, for example. But also, I didn't include a lot of vocalists just because a lot of people use this tier list to just compare people, which isn't the goal of it. Like, I'll see people going like, Wendy is tier 7 and above Karina. And I'm just like, I said that? It's like at that point when you're at that low, it's like the difference in like this bottom tier is so minuscule. I just left out the bottom tier. I don't want to, there's not even tier numbers. I'm not trying to like compare like that. I just want to give an overall idea of the levels of rapping in K-pop. Finally, if you do disagree with the ranking, like I mentioned before, you are welcome to comment, but please be prepared that I will probably respond to your comment, especially if I feel like you did not put thought into it. So, if you want to make an argument in the comments and you listen to everyone else, you might change my opinion on something and I will completely acknowledge it. But if you're just saying my fave is better than this person, how dare you do this? I'll probably go off on you in the replies. I'm just letting you know ahead of time. So give me examples, give me reasoning that makes sense in the comments, and I'll respect it. And it might change my mind on something. With that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thank you for sticking with me in this longer intro, and I hope you guys enjoy this long tier list about all the rappers in K-pop that are kind of relevant right now. Enjoy. So I got my Twitch chat here, and we're going to be doing a tier list of every single K-pop rapper. If any of these people up here say something really weird, that is that's not my fault. Please don't blame that on me. So let's get into what these tiers are, and then we'll dive in from the top and work our way down. So let's just start with the top tier, what it is. We have the big three. This is basically just top tier. This would be the same tier as this, but I separated it out because I feel like these three stand out above the rest. I feel like they were worth a tier of their own. Although some people disagree, I still wanted to do it. So we have like this big three tier, but in actuality, they are part of this top tier. The top tier are the the creme de la creme, the people who actually have extremely intricate technicalities in their rapping, whether that be the rhyme scheme or the flow or a combination of everything, and have actually like at least decent deliveries as well that can help them stand out on their own as rappers and actually have really notable areas to rap in. So top tier is like, the top tier of K-pop rapping. These are like best of the best, essentially. It's about the top 11, 12, 13, 14 or so rappers. Then we have the more than impressive tier right here. This more than impressive tier are the people who just missed out on this top tier. It's not to say that they are bad, because they are nowhere near bad. If your fave is on this tier, they are still insane. They are still cracked and have some amazingly mind-blowing raps. They are just not the top tier yet, whether it be one little tiny little critique or a couple, little things overall. There's something that holds them back from being top tier, but they are still, wow, so good. And that goes to impressive. This impressive tier means that they are better than the average rapper. They do stuff, and every once in a while will make you turn your head and go, okay, that is interesting. So yeah, it's impressive. It just means they do some impressive stuff every once in a while. They have some very baseline raps, and they also every once in a while will make you turn your head and go, ooh, okay, I see what you're doing there. Then we get down to solid. This could also be known as average. However, average, it just means the average part of K-pop rappers. This isn't bad. It's not good. It's solid. It is the baseline. It's like you hear them rap, and you're like, hey, that was a decent rap. Hell yeah. Like, they aren't, They could have a lot of potential to be even higher, by the way. These placements aren't stuck in the mud, and they're very fluctuating. They could release something tomorrow and change their spot, But as of right now, these people, these idols would be, solid. They rap really well. They aren't bad, but they aren't mind-blowingly good, at least yet. Then we have the missing one or two things tier. These are the rappers that are just, they could be really good. You can hear it, but you can literally name one or two big things that they could change about their rap style or what they're doing with their raps that would bump them up to just be solid, right? And then they could also go even higher if they keep improving and improving. But like, you hear the seeding of great potential, I should say. Then we have very mid. Now, this isn't necessarily bad, because I know a lot of people hear mid and just think bad. It doesn't mean they're bad. It just means they don't ever really do anything that turns your head. It's like extremely solid, right? Like, they'll rap and then you're just like, hey, that was cool. And they might have one or two things to show their potential, but overall, it's like, they still have a long way to go if we want to call them top tier one day. And then finally, we have the on copium tier. If you're not part of like Twitch community or how Twitch terms, it's basically means like you're lying to yourself if you want to call them top tier. And there are some notable names in here, but there's good reasons for all of them. And yeah, they're essentially rappers that they're rappers. Let's go. Okay, one last thing I need to add on to here. You're going to see on all of these pictures, this was created, by the way, if you ever see somebody named Miyu's Ribbons up here, that is the person who actually made this tier list and all of the pictures that go along with this. Each picture will have a border. Blue means they're from a boy group. Red means they're from a girl group. And there's little dots in the bottom corner of each rapper, and that is how many writing credits they have. So if it's a green dot, it is over 50% of their raps they've written themselves. So the majority that they've written themselves. Blue dot means they've written most, or I guess some of the raps, 25 to 50% themselves. Then a red dot means they've written less than a quarter of their own raps. And a yellow dot means they're brand new. We don't know yet how many of their raps they're going to write. So that is what those dots mean as well. So with that being said, am I forgetting anything, chat? Are we ready to dive into the actual rankings? This is going to be a long video, by the way. I'm going to go into detail at least a little bit, but not like too much. At least I don't think so. So we ready? I think we're ready. Here we go. First off, we're going to start at the top. and work our way down. We have the big three. I think it's fairly obvious to most people who've listened to K-pop for longer than 6 months. We got Zico, Mino, and Bobby. Respectively from Block B, Winner, and Icon in those three groups. Now let's just go left to right. I'm going to keep these ones short because I have lots of content if you want to find details about these rappers. I did a video in September explaining each one in detail, but these three rappers, we'll start with Zico. Literally a K-hip-hop rapper. Like, at this point, Zico, a lot of people wouldn't even call him K-pop. And I still have him on here because he's still technically in Block B. If Block B ever do make a comeback, because they're on the longest hiatus ever, he's still going to be part of the group. He's still going to make raps in the group. He's still like featuring on K-pop songs. He is very much K-pop. But there's a lot of people who wouldn't even consider him K-pop because he's that much into K-hip-hop at this point. He's been a judge on Show Me the Money. All of his raps are insane. Okay, not all, but the vast majority of his raps are insane. There's some like No You Can't, and I can pull up examples if you guys would like that as well, even though it might... You're looking at Jiseong. We'll talk about Jiseong of NXT in a minute. But like, this is the one I love to pull out to talk about Zico all the time. He literally has some insane flows while having insane rhyme schemes. Like, it just feels like he's not even trying while doing some of the most complex shit any of us ever hear in K-pop. And so the thing here is like, it sounds fast, and it is a fast rap. But this is one of those cases where fast doesn't mean good. Because what he's doing in here is the good part, and it just happens to be fast. Like, he isn't just doing one rhythm over and over and over. It's so many different rhythms intertwined with each other. It's really cool. So I highly recommend listening to this if you don't know why Zico's widely considered the best rapper in K-pop. Then we have Mino of Winner, who is the king of freaking weird flows, man. He has some of the most strangest, like, out there flows that you would never expect. Some great examples are even just go back to last year. He did a song on Code Kunst's Jumper, and he has some of the strangest rhythms on this song in his flow that you would never expect to hear. Of it and look at the rhythms, it's mind-blowingly complex, and he's consistently doing that. So yeah, Mino is very self-explanatory. He's become such an insane rapper, insane albums. Those last two albums also have some insane raps, rhyme schemes, and flows, and lyrics, and has some like insane wordplay on his lyrics too. Again, all these three, I made an entire video on back in September by top 10 K-pop rappers with evidence. Go check that video out if you want more details on these guys. Bobby, again, very much like Mino and Zico, except his counterpart is delivery. Most people feel he has the best delivery in K-pop. He could do almost anything. He gives you this like lackadaisical, lazy feeling in his raps where he's slurring his words together and make it feel like it's just one long stretch of breath. And at the same time, he can have some insanely intense, fast-paced, enunciated things that's just going to blow your head off with aggression. It's this really weird relationship that you can have so many different deliveries from this one man. He's such a good writer at getting the best part of his delivery into that song and making it, pop while writing some really cool things under it as well. Now, he doesn't have the flow complexities that Mino has had. He doesn't have the balance between rhyme scheme and flows that Zico has. But I would say that he excels in delivery over Mino and Zico. Like, these are like the big three, right? You could do like the rhyme scheme with flow, even though Mino has amazing rhyme scheme too. But Mino with the insanely weird, exotic flows, and then Bobby out of pocket flows, I guess I could say, and then Bobby with the delivery. It's like the big three of different categories in rapping. So yeah, that's our big three. Again, if you want more details, I have a whole video on all my top 10 back from September of last year. You could go check that out. It has a bunch of examples in it as well. Let's move on to the top tier though. We got... Let's do first line. Let's do a line at a time. So we're going to cover up the last three. We got our first one. It is ordered left to right. Jiseong of Stray Kids. Now, I know there's a lot of Stray Kids people. There's probably a lot of people on my channel too that are like, wait a minute, Matt. I thought you liked Changbin more. I do like Changbin more. Changbin's my favorite rapper in K-pop. But he has been pretty standard, is a good word, recently. Jiseong hasn't. Jiseong's been doing these really, I guess I can also say exotic, not to the point where Mino is, but you can hear the relationship between Mino and Jiseong. I think of Jiseong as like a healthy medium between Zico and Mino. He's kind of like, if you wanted, like, you know, but again, a little bit under their level. If you wanted to combine Zico and Mino and like move them back to 2015 or something, that's what Han Jiseong is. At least, you know, to me, is a good way to explain it. There's like so many good raps from last year too, with like Volcano showing off his rhyme scheme. You have like I Got It, another one to check out, which is what probably his best overall rap ever. And then you have really cool things just in the Stray Kids boys raps. Now he didn't rap as much last year, and it does, like, you know, push him back a little bit, but you know, he's still at the top of top tier. That's high praise. Being at the top of top tier, it's like, I think Jiseong, if like you are saying Jiseong is not as good as somebody else, like, unless it's the big three above him, like, it's like you're just in denial at this point. It's like Jiseong's kind of cracked. He really is, and bro's a great singer at the same time. It's wild. That brings us to Suga. Armies, I hear ya. Just let me. Being the top 5 of a tier list with like over 200 possible entries is insanely high praise. Okay. So please, I'm very worried people are going to find it as an insult that Suga's not at the top. Please understand, Suga is cracked. He is insane. He had an amazing album last year. And again, I broke his stuff down in my video back from September. He has some insane raps. He has really insane flows, and he has another insane delivery. And God damn it, Fleur. He has some insane flows and lyricism as well, and like, you know, some of the best lyricism throughout the years. Like, even looking back at his first mixtape in 2016, and some of the lyrics he was writing on that, it's just like high tier, just top tier. And you know, I don't think there's a reasonable way you could say he's not top tier in K-pop. He's even with all the hype he gets from BTS, he is 100% deserving of the hype he gets for his rapping. It's delivery plus lyricism is crazy. With some of the subtle stuff he does with flow is kind of pretty cool too. So yeah, that's Suga. Now, if you watched my video from September, this is gonna be the first difference in the top 10. We got Jongseob right here. If you haven't heard his verse in the brand new P1 Harmony song from like 2 days ago, go check that shit out. It's so clean. The flows, the rhymes. Like, Jongseob is only 18 years old. And there's going to be a lot of people who go, but Matt, how can you have a kid in the top of top tier? He's too young. It doesn't matter. He could be 16, and if he's rapping like this, I'd say he's top of top tier. I don't care, like, if he was 28, 20, 18, 60, he's 18, and he raps better than the 99% of K-pop rappers. The kid is actually insane at writing and rapping. And the fact that he's so young just makes me happy about how farther he's going to push this in the future. It really reminds me of, not his style, but his positioning right now. It reminds me of Bobby and Mino pre-debut, before they joined iKON and Winner, and the amount of hype they were coming in with into K-pop. But Jongseob's already debuted. He debuted extremely young. So he's at that point, but he's already been around. So everyone's still like, you know, being like, oh no, he's still new. He needs more time. He's had time. He's been around for 3 years, coming up on 4. The dude is like, you know, he has established himself. He has his own style. He has an insane delivery. He does insane flows. He does insane rhymes. He does them both at the same time. It's such a wild story about how I just can't see him not being up here one day. And by one day, I mean like 2 years. If he keeps rapping at the same pace he is now, it's crazy. Like, he was excited about this Killing It verse, and he had a right. He knew what he was doing. He rapped a quintuplet in that. He joined the exclusive club of quintuplet rappers. 5 syllables when evenly dispersed to one beat. You know who else has done that in a K-pop song? Changbin, who we'll talk about next. Suga, RM, who we'll talk about in a little bit. Zico, Mino, Yechan, who we'll talk about in a little bit. I think that's it. There might be one or two people I'm missing that they'll tell me up there, but not Mark. Show them killing it. Oh, Mark rapped a quintuplet in 90s Love? No shot, did he? Anyway, we'll get to Mark later. Let me know if he actually did that when we get to him. Anyway, so yeah, Jongseob is crazy. If you still doubt this kid just because you think he's young or a rookie, please wake up. Don't stop judging a book by its cover. Just because he's young doesn't mean he's not insane. He is absolutely insane rapper. Prodigy. Next up, we have Changbin, my boy, my bias, and it hurts me. It freaking hurt me to put Jongseob above him because I love Changbin. He is my freaking, or he's been my background before on my phone and shit. He's like, you know, my profile picture on my second channel. He's somebody that's made a billion videos on defending, and I think he is an amazing rapper, and he still is. Being top 10 in K-pop is still an amazing achievement. The last year was really basic for him. Last year was very standard. He didn't do anything super cool or impressive. And even the past 2 years have been very standard on his scale. When you look back to the stuff he was doing pre-debut in Rawhyun in 2017, some of it's actually crazy. You look back to even debut year with District 9 and that really cool cadence over top of those 16s. You look back to stuff like the Maze of Memories. You look back to stuff like Mirror Mirror in 2021, and really ever since then, he hasn't done too much, and it's just like, I love this dude, and I want him to do it, and he's said that he's going to, you know, try to, like, revisit his old style again, but with his new style, which, you know, I think was healthy for him to do, I had to bump him down. I just reasonably couldn't have done it any other way, but he's still an insane rapper from his stuff previously in recent years, and I'm really looking forward to this year to I'm really looking forward to this year because, like, you know, I hope he's changing up the style a bit and going back to what he used to. He's, you know, focused way more on delivery recently, and while I appreciate it, I want him to go back to focusing on flow. Let's move on to Hanse. Now, this might be the highest Hanse ever gets. He left Victon. He's no longer in a K-pop group. Should he be on this list? Probably not. He might not be on here next year. But for right now, we're keeping him on here. He's no longer in Victon. He's gone from Victon, which is really sad. And his solo stuff doesn't really concentrate on rap like he would in Victon. And so Hanse is this weird thing that you're going to hear a bit of with these next few guys where he's kind of mid at the early part of Victon, to my knowledge. And for some reason, at like 2019 or so, he kind of just flipped a switch and just came on. And some of the flows he comes up with, like, he doesn't bow to a beat. He makes the producers go back and, like, change the beat to what he wants to do complexity-wise in a flow. It's really cool. And, yeah. Hanse, I don't have too much to say. I need to get through these faster because we've been doing this for a hot minute now, and I'm only halfway through the top tier. So, next up, we have Jooheon, Monsta X, amazing delivery. I would say the only person who I would say 100% has a better delivery than Jooheon is Bobby. Outside of that, Jooheon's one of the best deliveries in K-pop. Absolutely insane rapper. Had a pretty cool album with Lights this past year. And decent raps on the Monsta X stuff that came out last January. I'm pretty sure he's in the army now at this point. But yeah, he's still quite good. He's top 10. He's such a solid rapper. Everything from delivery and then, you know, very standard flows to my knowledge, but that delivery from him, like, you listen to, what is it? Hype. Oh, what was the song called? Hype something. Off his recent album, it starts with Hype. He literally sounds like he's throwing. He's doing like this, like at the end of each bar, it sounds like he's throwing up. Hype energy, thank you. It sounds like he's throwing up with his delivery, and not in a gross way. In this really cool, like, what the fuck? This sound that you wouldn't expect to hear from a rap. And it's always so much fun to find out what you're going to get from Jooheon because of his range in his vocal tones while he's rapping. It's really fun. He has some solid flows too. Oh, everybody in top tier has at least solid flows. Like, they wouldn't be top tier if they weren't. Next up, we have B.I. Regardless of the past few years, B.I. is quietly one of the best rappers in K-pop. Even from his stuff at iKON, he was extremely consistent and I would have always said Bobby was kind of like would overshadow him just a little bit, but everyone still recognized that they were both insanely good. Now that he's going solo and worked with K-hip-hop, it's like you hear everything come out that would not have come out if he was still in iKON. And while I do miss him in iKON, for his rap style and everything. Going solo like this and having these last 2 albums have been insane for his, placing in terms of K-pop. I have it number 10. This is number 10, by the way. Some of the songs like I can't remember the name off the top of my head, but some of the songs that B.I.'s had in this new album have been really impressive. I'm sure somebody can name a few up there who know the B.I. album better than me. But yeah, check out these new B.I. albums. They're really impressive rap-wise between a multitude of factors. Next up, we have RM. Now, this is another one that I know people... when I made my top 10 and RM was like number 11 or 12 and I just gave him an honorable mention, people were like, how dare you not have RM at the top? Look, RM is an extremely good rapper. And again, being this high up in a tier list is praise in itself. He is really fucking good. The little asterisks, right? The reason he's not up here, I just spoiled the next person, is because RM had a revelation in his style and his sound. He had a little bit of a turning point to where he went more self-reflective. And that is super cool on his part. That is super, wise and stylish and, do what you want to do. I supported RM. Make the music that you want to make. I appreciate it. But at the end of the day, he isn't doing what he did in 2015 with Joke. We haven't heard stuff like Joke since then. We haven't heard stuff like Do You. We haven't heard stuff like the ciphers and the shit he did on the ciphers. All really good and a big reason why he's still up here. And while he has some cool flows and like Yoon and some cool lyrics or good lyrics in general in his new album Indigo, I think that's what keeps him up here in top tier. Even though BTS isn't doing what they used to do back in 2015. So let's move down to the next line. I'm gonna start picking up the pace a bit because we've been going a while and we're only through 2 lines and we have like 20 lines to go. So next up we have J.Seph of Card. If you haven't heard Card stuff from this past year, you need to check it out. Please check out Been That Boy especially and Cake. J.Seph has gone off with the flows and he's like a bit held back because Card isn't really this hip-hop style group. He doesn't really get to rap like he did on those 2 tracks, and it's crazy. It's some of the stuff that J.Seph's been able to do is absolutely wild. Excuse me real quick, I need a drink. So I highly recommend checking out those songs as examples if you are not used to J.Seph's rapping. Like Card, I never thought of Card as a rap group. Yeah, they have a legit rapper. I kind of want to see what J.Seph would do going solo, to be honest. Next up, cheers, Sam. Next up, we have Jiseong of NTX and Tan. Now you see 2 groups here because he's in 2 groups. He's in the compilation group of Tan, where they have a bunch of veteran idols coming together. But he's also in his own personal group now of NTX. And most of his insane rap is in NTX. If you only listen to Tan, you'll probably be like, why is he up here? And that's very valid of you to think, because he hasn't really gone off in Tan. Everything he's gone off on is like solos, SoundCloud, and NTX. And I'm sure that chatter right there, that dude, can tell you more in the chat about Jiseong, because Yura hypes Jiseong up a lot. So I'll let Yura talk about it. If you're interested in Jiseong, look at the next message from Yura. I'm putting some work onto Yura. Yura, tell them about Jiseong. And while Yura's typing that out, let's move on to Sunwoo. This is our first idol who's a blue dot, which means he hasn't written over 50% of his raps. Would you sit there and go, why is he top tier then? Because everything he does right is top tier. If you take out everything he doesn't write because he's in a giant freaking boy group, and if you take out everything he doesn't write because it's the boys that have so many members, and he really doesn't have time to write, so they have to just just arrange it for him. like his actual portfolio of raps is kind of crazy, especially in recent years. Now, going back to the early days, it's like especially when he didn't write a lot in the first few years, it's like, like he was nothing special in the 2017 debut, 2018, even into 2019. He really didn't do anything special. It's really been since 2020 that Sunwoo kind of came out of almost nowhere, and it's just like he has some very exotic raps. Think mini Mino in a way, with a more monotone delivery than Mino has. He has some really exotic raps that just like you hear it in the boys, and then you're just like, what? It just catches you off guard a lot, and he's developed so well. So anything that has a self-written by Sunwoo, like 9 times out of 10, it's going to be really good. And that's why he's the only person with a blue dot in the top tier. But let's move on to more than impressive. And Yura didn't tell us about Jiseong. It's okay. Yura, that was your chance to plug your channel and your video, and you didn't do it. What a shame. We've got more than impressive tiers. So we have another, 9 idols on this tier. Whew. Yeah, so again, these are the guys that, they're more than impressive. Hongjoong of ATEEZ had his best year by far with his raps. When you look at Mats, when you look at This World, when you look at all of these B-sides that ATEEZ had done in the past year, like, I could not have more than high praise. In my opinion, he was rapper of the year in 2023, and he's like, he was always been a decent to good rapper in ATEEZ. But I think after last year, he's fine. Like, I don't want to say finally, he's 100% earned his hype from any doubters. If anybody says Hongjoong isn't a good rapper, it's like now it's like we have definitive evidence against that. I'm held back from putting him in top tier a bit because I haven't had that one long verse from Hongjoong that makes me kind of turn my head a bit, right? And when he gets that, and whether that be a solo, whether that be another ATEEZ song, but it's like more hip-hop focused with like maybe Mingi or something, I'm going to be super happy and excited, and he could go up to top tier, especially if he does well in that. But for right now, yeah. Hongjoong at the top of more than impressive is good for me. Now, Rawhyun, this might be a new name for many of you. He's in the same second group as Jiseong, which is NTX. And if you listen to NTX, he has a few decent raps with a cool delivery. And the real treasure with Rawhyun is his that's a weird combo of words, his SoundCloud. Please check out his SoundCloud. I'm not going to link it because it's a lot of stuff I'm going to have to link if I link everybody's stuff. But like, check out NTX Rawhyun SoundCloud. I'm sure it'll pop up. His raps on there are actually cracked and have some really actually intricate things going on. And I just needed to come out more in the officially released stuff. But man, this guy has some wild stuff. He's got 4 mixtapes. There you go. 4 mixtapes on his SoundCloud. He's legit. Then we got J-Hope of BTS, the third rapper of BTS, and the first, actually technically it's the second group because B.I. and Bobby have already been here. I was going to say the first group to feature all of their rappers. Actually, no, NTX was the first. Something to think about. Anyways, BTS, J-Hope is actually, like, pretty damn good. I think a lot of his stuff on BTS, he's kind of seen as the third rapper, and I think it's legit. I think it's valid to see him as the third rapper. I know J-Hope stands. I know. I just like, I just blasphemed, right? But I don't think that's an insult because he's in a group with 2 of the best rappers of K-pop history, of RM and Suga. He's more than impressive, especially listening to his newest mixtape, Jack in the Box from 2022 summer. It's still a really impressive album to go back and really listen to. He featured with J. Cole. J. Cole recognized him as a legit rapper. Now, how much of it was clout, like, wanting to work together to pull fans from each other, and how much of it was legit respect wanting to work together? I don't know. But the fact that J. Cole, wanted to put his name on the same thing as J-Hope, a lot of respect there. Jack in the Box is not a did I say mixtape? Same thing. Mixtape album, same thing. Jack in the Box is great. He had some amazing raps on there, and he's a super high quality rapper. And he's come a long way from especially his early days in BTS. Miss Soyeon. This pains me to this pains me. Cheers, Sam. I had her in the top 10. Let me do the positives and then negatives really quick. Soyeon is by far the best female rapper in K-pop. To this day, still. She has done more than any other girl in a K-pop rap, right? The music theory she manipulates, the types of rhythms she goes for, the types of rhymes and wordplays she goes for. She does more than anybody else has in a K. Okay, no, I'm doing one more drink. Cheers, guys. She does more than anybody else in a girl group. The negatives come in because I used to have her in the top 10. Up in BI slot is where I would have had her 6 months ago. Her last year or so has been really lackluster. Well, now that's between her accepting to rap stuff that she didn't write that was really, really bad on that English album from 88 Rising. Whether she had a choice or not, I don't know. I would love to know that one day. But yeah, her raps were very, very, very plain there. The Queendom album, nothing super, very standard girl group raps. This new album with Super Lady and all that, like nothing stand out there either. All very, and even the stuff she wrote for the other girls, like I think it hit me the most finding out that the best rap on that album, which was a very solid rap that I would have kept her in top tier with, which was her rap in Vision. That rap was written by Mingi. And me not knowing that was like, yeah, that's the best rap on this album. The fact that the best rap on the album was written by the non-rapper of the group over the rapper who wrote her own stuff. Like, it just kind of like, I'm like, I love Soyeon. She is the best. And I can't be sending her these, giving her these get out of jail free cards over and over. It's like, she had a very slow year last year. I got to bump her down. I hope she turns it around this year because her, Bad B Number has some insane lyricism in it. Her stuff from the late 2010s and early 2020s has some insane flows and some insane concepts that she's doing. I can't keep giving her a super long leash. She's more than impressive. She's a really good rapper, and she is still the best rapper in K-pop. Do not let anybody tell you different. Soyeon is the best female rapper in K-pop, but I wouldn't say she's top tier at this point anymore because of this last year. Taeyong! Hot take! Taeyong is the best rapper in NCT. We'll talk about Mark in a little bit, but Taeyong is slept on so much. I don't know why, but the stuff he does in his raps actually get kind of cracked. Plus, he has a really good delivery. And I that's all I need to be said, because I need to speed this up. We've been going for a long time, and we're barely through this. Yechan of Psychers, the prodigy kid of 5th Gen. He is most likely going to be the best rapper of 5th Gen, and I have high hopes for this kid. He has already done a quintuplet, like I mentioned with Jongseob earlier. And the kid's insane, man. I don't know what to tell you. He has some insane flows. He has some insane rhythms and patterns, and just the way he raps and writes. And I couldn't have more high praise for this kid. I'm so excited for him in 5th Gen. That moves us to Yezi, our other girl in the more than impressive tier. I'm excited to hear more from her because ever since No Name came out, coming up on 2 years ago, or was it last year? No, it was 2 years ago. Ever since No Name came out as an official song, we haven't heard too much from her. I'm hoping we get some new stuff from Yezi this year. I'm hoping she goes and gives us more of those actual insane rap roots. But yeah, she listen to No Name, listen to her stuff from the album after Unpretty Rap Star. She has some insanely legit lyricism, some insanely legit flows, and really good delivery for a girl group rapper, you know? Some really good delivery. I know this says Fiesta, she's actually soloist, by the way. But I digress. Let's go to Day of Unite. Just look up Day rap compilation, Day Unite rap compilation, and that should give you everything. He is the highest on this list and the least talked about. Maybe Rawhyun is less talked about than Day. I never hear anyone talk about Day, but the kid actually has some like legit rapping, and it's really impressive. Yeah, just look up Day Unite compilation. I need to speed through these more. Woojinyoung, I lowered him a bit. He released an album literally today. Didn't have anything too impressive rap-wise. I had lower him a bit, but I still have him in more than impressive because some of the rhyme schemes he's done in the past on his solos are actually like, you know, wild. He was in the group D once, so you can also check out D once for some raps, but he's super smooth. He has super smooth rhymes and really fun rhyme schemes that go on. I think that's like the best part. He's smooth with really good rhymes. He's like Han Ji-sung, but slightly less impressive than that. And then that brings us to the impressive tier, which I almost messed up. Boop. There we go. So we have the impressive tier. The guys and girls who are, in fact, impressive. We'll start with Wonhyuk. Wonhyuk could be a lot higher if he actually rapped more. But because he's also the main vocalist for his group, he doesn't rap as much as I'd want him to. He has some really cool stuff on SoundCloud that he also covered on YouTube. Really fun to listen to. I hope those become official solos one day because they were really good. Some insanely fast sextuplets in there too. Really fun to hear. And just some really smooth flows and rhymes. My one negative is I just need him to rap more. He just sings half the time. And he's a great singer too. Don't get me wrong, but man's a good-ass rapper. Next up, we have ZUHO of SF9. He's a very divisive delivery, I have heard. A lot of people don't like his delivery. It's too ear-scratching for them. But man, he writes some, like, you know what we were talking about Mino? Think of Mino, but purely in a K-pop group, almost, to a lesser extent. That's kind of ZUHO. Yeah, check out SF9 ZUHO. Even on this last album, I made a video on him a few weeks ago. Go check that one out too. I make a video on him like once a year because every year he releases this one really good rap, you know, and I have to talk about it. Castle J had a really cool SoundCloud album come out. I want to make a video on this because he had some legit SoundCloud shit come out this past last month, I'm pretty sure. Whew. Some of the rhythms this guy was rapping is crazy. Actually crazy. And he never gets to do that MC&D. The reason he is here and not up here is because he's an MC&D. And for some reason, whoever arranges their music wants to fuck over the rappers. And they're like, hey, we're a hip-hop group, but we're not going to let our rappers actually rap, even though they're all pretty legit. And we hear that when they solo. Because they solo and they go the fuck off, like Castle J does. I just wish they got to do that more in MC&D. HUTA of B2B, I had him a lot higher before. But very, standard raps in recent years. It's been a while since I've heard something that really blew my mind from him. It's been since Kingdom. And he's a very consistently good fucking rapper, right? He's just consistent and good. And that's what I could say. Very good. What is he? Late second gen, early third gen? He might be early third gen. Yeah, he's extremely good. My God, guys. Cheers, Sam. I am of Monsta X. Whew. Is really good in Monsta X. If you listen to his solos, and this is why he's not higher than this, his solos are very, and it's kind of similar to RM, but to a greater extent. IM does what he wants solo-wise, and more power to him. I am so happy for him. He makes the music he enjoys. But it involves very standard rapping. Very bland, uninspired rapping. because he's not trying to rap really technically good. He's trying to pull off this vibe of like chill trappiness, right? And while that's cool and he could do that and that's what makes him happy and I'm all supportive of it, I can't put him that high because of it. Although he has had some really cool things. I'm going to turn off this cheers, Yoongi. I'm going to turn this off. He has had some really good raps with Monsta X, like Beautiful Liar last year. Really good. P1 Harmony's INTAK had a really good rap on Emergency on the new album. Go check that one out. And he's kind of like Jongseob's number 2. And I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean, like, he compliments Jongseob really well. P1 Harmony is insanely good rap line. Jongseob's like this, like, wild spirits that's just all over the place doing all these, like, fucking weird shit. And then INTAK's the ground, right? Like, he's grounding Jongseob. When they go back and forth, you have Jongseob starting to do all this weird stuff. And then INTAK still does weird stuff. He's done, like, you know, inverted gallops, where he's doing the gallop in between each beat. Which is still a really cool thing to do, right? And he's doing all this, like, stuff, but you see, he's so much more grounded in his raps, and it complements Jongseob really well. And if I was doing, like, you know, P1 Harmonies really slept on rap line. They were really good together. But INTAK by himself, like, you know, there's not as much as Jongseob impressive wise, but he does some really cool things. And I've made a few videos on him before. So yeah, last one. Cheers on Yugi. Okay. Mark of NCT. Mark is by far the best pop rapper in K-pop. What do I mean by that? He is really good at making iconic and catchy rap parts. And while that's cool and that's a skill in of its own, and that is why he's an impressive, I can't put him higher because to make a rap super catchy and iconic, it's usually very basic. And he just like has a little twang to it that makes it kind of pop for people and puts it in at the right spot. And that's talent in and of itself. And that is why he's impressive. Has he ever done these really cool flows like Yechan, Jongseob, Changbin? No. Does he ever have these really fun and perplexing deliveries like Bobby and Jooheon and J.Hope? No. Does he have these insanely complex rhyme schemes like Mino and Jiseong and Woojinyoung? No. So like you get into all the specifics and it's like Mark like doesn't do anything at the top tier level, but he does everything kind of at a stand. Like he's like the master of none, but like what's the phrase? I don't know. His deliveries on the new album were good. Yeah. But I mean, like, it's not like it's Jooheon level deliveries is what I mean. So, like, he's impressive because Mark is good. But it's not like he's, like, mind-blowingly good in any specific category. He's very good at making pop raps that are catchy. Jack of all trades, master of none. Thank you, Muse. And Fleur. And Moonlight. Okay, let's move on to Moonbyul. Yeah, she's top 5 female rappers. My one knock on her, though, I'll say this before the positives. She isn't like the most passionate rapper in the world. She'd much rather be a singer than a rapper. I think even Muumuus can, you know, recognize that at the end of the day, if it was up to Moonbyul, she'd be a singer, right? And I think that holds her back slightly because she doesn't have that, like, you know, kick in the butt that, you know, some of the people up here on the top tier might have, right? She doesn't have this, like, desire of being the best rapper that there is. And that's okay because she is like one of the best girl group rappers by just doing what she's doing. She has these really cool melodic flows. She has a lot of really cool melodic stuff that it ends up being cool rhythms in there. She had I'm pretty sure it's a little bit of a mess up on my end, but I ended up getting some septuplet thing that came from her on one song. It might be off of that a little bit. Maybe it was a mix of a sextuplet and all that, but yeah. Moonbyul is impressive because she is doing some of the best girl group rapping without wanting to do rap, which is a really like cool thing to think about. But yeah, that brings us to Giuk. He had the best rap of 2023, or one of them. I think only behind Jongseob and maybe J.Seph. Giuk is like top 5 from last year with the rap. He had some insane offbeat, complex rhythmic rap on his solo. He's in the group Wonhyuk, which is a band. So it kind of sucks because, rap doesn't go that well with just pure rock. And it's why you don't really see anybody from like, N Flying, CN Blue, Day 6 ever like recognized as like a top tier rapper, because it's not easy to rap over rock music that's not like new metal or new rock, where it's like Linkin Park style things where it's made to be rapped over, right? K-pop bands don't do that. So most of Giuk's really good rapping comes from when he does the solo stuff, and luckily we get a lot of solo stuff, and especially this year we had like a couple solo releases and like stuff from Giuk, and when he does go solo, it's some really cool stuff that he does. So yeah, BAP Zelo. I know everybody wants to point to Warrior and Punch and those fast things from Zelo. Zelo's fast stuff is really basic. And while it's cool because he does 9-10 syllables in 2 seconds or per second or something at his fastest point, there was no complex rhythms in those stuff back then. But luckily for us, he never stopped rapping. And if you look up some Zelo stuff from last year, it's actually pretty cool. He did release some stuff. He did a live performance last year, and it had a really cool rap in there. He's still got some impressive stuff. I just wish he rapped more, and that's the thing that's holding him back. And a lot of these rappers, it's what's holding them back. But he has some really cool things in his recent stuff. I wish I remembered the name of the song he did live. Anyway, we got Chanyeol. Chanyeol is somebody who I had always called the best idol rapper in K-pop. That title might go to Moonbyul now. But I think Chanyeol's still impressive. Last year, he did one of the most insane flows of just a pure, straight, offbeat 16th run. Where he delayed himself a 30-second note, I think.
29 pop.
Thanks for the sub, Woody. He delayed himself a 16th note and literally just did a run. But everything was just slightly behind where it normally would be on a flow. And he consistently did that multiple times in one song. And, that's the type of stuff that, like, Yoongi does. Suga's done that in BTS's 2-3. It's the same type of flow that, like, Jiseong had done from Stray Kids in the 3 Ratchet song Startline. It's a really cool flow. It's really difficult to pull off and staying consistent at. So, yeah, Chanyeol, many cool things over the years. But at the end of the day, he's not a rapper. He's an idol who was told he had to rap. And I think he's one of the best at doing that. Wooseok of Pentagon. He made it far and showed me the money. And that's gotta mean something. But regardless of that, he has some really cool raps in Pentagon. He made it almost past round 2. He was one of the final people to be eliminated before going to round 3 and Show Me the Money 9. And that speaks for itself. He made it farther than Changbin. And you gotta credit that. So yeah, that's the main reason that he's that high. Next up, we have another girl group rapper of LE. Again, she might not be on here for much longer because, she's kind of falling into the background of the more production side of K-pop rather than being a pure rapper. She did give us a new rap on a Tri B collab this past year, and it was really cool to hear her rap again. It wasn't anything super impressive. Most of her impressive stuff comes from the EXID collab, but yeah. Very consistently good rapper who she's like, her and Moonbyul are 2 girl group rappers that like don't have anything bad. There's nothing that I would like hear from them and go, right? Everything they do is at least like they're very consistent. So that's in and of itself. Seunghyub of N Flying is another rapper who is here because of his SoundCloud. Again, he doesn't do too much really cool rapping in N Flying, but he's a lot of SoundCloud collabs that ended up being really cool. And yeah, so if you're curious why he's up this high, go check out his SoundCloud collabs and stuff. I need to go through. I keep saying I need to go faster. We're not even halfway through. Oh my god. Faster, Matt. Don't get into too much detail. Woojin of AB6, really good solo last year. Check out that mini album if you don't believe me. had a really, really cool solo with really good raps in Top Tier and even a handful of other ones. And he's had decent raps in AB6 too. Very solid rapper overall. And with like, some impressive stuff too. So that gets him this high. Mingi of ATs. He's fallen a bit for me because he hasn't done too much impressive stuff. I will say his rap in Arriba is really cool. While the flow is still in 3-4, it's a little bit on the basic side, but the delivery is so cool. It's like the first time we've heard Mingi kind of change up his delivery bit, which is really cool to hear. But yeah, he slowed down a bit in the same way Changbin has almost. In the past few years. I used at one point thought Mingi was over Hongjoong, but obviously that opinion switched in recent years. Roda of Mont. I'm really excited to hear what he does in the future. Check out some Mont stuff. All of his good stuff's usually in the group. He has 1 or 2 good solos. A song with Boomhan called Ashes. Check out his rap in there. And he did a song called forgot the name of it. Oh my god. Anxious. Cool delivery in that. So there's Roda. I wish he would rap more and Mont would come back more, but yeah, that's kind of what's holding him back. Nature of Dia Wings. This is a self-produced Nugu group. They are completely self-written and produced. They make all of their own music and all of that. And that kind of deters some people from giving Nature a fair shot in this because you hear it and it's obviously slightly less of the typical K-pop quality because it's self-produced, right? And if you take away that, difference in sound, which is coming around, by the way, Dia Wings, their production's getting better and better and better as they get more and more popular. But you take that away, some of Nature's raps, not only is she the fastest female rapper in K-pop right now, which again, in and of itself isn't that impressive, it's just 16th notes, but she has some insane lyricism. She has some really, really, really good lyricism that's always really fun to listen to, and some really good flow patterns in not like the flow specifically like Mino, but the actual patterns that she does ends up being quite catchy, and it's really fun to listen to. Tag of One Pact. Oh, he's also in Cypher, by the way. This is the same tag from Cypher. And yeah, he's producing a lot of the songs in One Pact, and I hope he gives himself more raps in the future. He had a really cool rap in Hot Stuff from One Pact. It's really cool. Go listen to that. He does not inverted. I don't know if I would call it offbeat triplet. I guess it is offbeat triplets. He's doing triplets on the odd sextuplet, if that makes sense. So if you take a sextuplet, right, he's doing every other sextuplet note. But he slowly transitions to that in his flow, and it gives you that stank face, ooh, because it's such a strange flow to hear, because he's starting off with triplets, and he's doing these 6/8 feels, so he's accenting every other triplet, and then he slowly delays it to be the second note of a sextuplet. It's cool. He messes up. I don't agree, but okay. And then one more, we have a win of MC&D. Go check out Castle J's SoundCloud if you need any evidence on here. MC&D has really good rappers that are held back by the group's arranger because for some reason, the MC&D production team and arrangers don't want their rappers to actually be considered really good, and they want to hold back their rappers. I don't know why, but yeah. Anyway, let's do solid tier. So here we go. I'm gonna zip through these because this is gonna be a long video. I'll start with halfway. I'm gonna just spoil some. Huni of Winter, very much slept on because he's in the same group as Mino, but he is a very consistent and good rapper in the solid tier. If you listen to Winter and oftentimes you'll hear some good rapping that's not from Mino, but you never pay attention to it because Mino's just oh my god. But Huni has some really legit raps that go on in there too. Chan of 2-1. He also goes by Iri. Has some really, 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 not only in 2-1, but I'm pretty sure he has some SoundCloud stuff too. But he has a lot of potential. And that lands him solid. Moonsua of Billy took a year-long hiatus, rightfully so, well needed, and I completely understand. Hopefully she comes back soon though and gives us some new raps. She rapped in Second World last year, or in 2022, and it was a really good rap and was self-written and everything. I hope we get some more stuff like that in Billie, because Billie's not really a rap-focused group, so she doesn't really get too many long raps by herself. So I hope we get more of that. Mimi of Oh My Girl has some really cool flows. You look at her last comeback from last year, what was it, Summer Comes? She has a really cool triplet in there that you would not expect normally from a girl group type rap. And her stuff's normally self-written too. Again, she's Blue Dot, so she's like 50, a little less than 50%. But still, when she does write it herself, it can get really cool. And I've talked about her a lot over the years, so you can go check out those videos as well. Asa, she is the first new face in here, other than Yechan, I think. Yeah, she only has the one rap in Batter Up so far, but, you know, looking at her pre-debut stuff and the cover she's done, she has a lot of potential. She really has a lot of potential. We'll see if YG lets her achieve that potential. I'm very worried YG won't. I know YG have the stereotype of being the rap-centered agency because of Big Bang, because of 21. But they're really not like that anymore. I'm really just hoping that they let Asa do what she does best. She did get to write Batter Up, so we'll see. Exy of WJSN. Just the queen of consistency. Very consistent. Like I was mentioning with Ellie and Moonbyul earlier, there really aren't too many bad Exy raps. She has a few more that I'd be like, too. But for the most part, she's extremely solid. Like, she doesn't have anything that blows my mind, but at the same time, she doesn't have anything that, like, makes me go, girl group rapping, ugh. She's very, very consistently good. Hyunjin of Stray Kids, when he does write, it's very fun to listen to. He has a really cool style that he tries to go for. Like, it reminds me much of, like, Bobby's lackadaisical style. However, he often just comes up as like the off-brand Jiseong when he raps, because he's rapping a Jiseong written verse because Jiseong wrote it, right? And yeah, I hope he gets to write more. But at the same time, you know, I don't know if he wants to be a rapper necessarily. I know he's a dancer first, so we'll see. But for somebody who barely writes themselves, he's quite good. He has a lot of potential. Minjae of Psychers. Check out the pre-debut thing from Psychers. Canvas. That's probably his best rap so far. And that was really fun to listen to. And it's a lot of potential for Minjae, even being in the same group as somebody like Yechan. So, there's Minjae. Sunye, probably my most controversial pick. Bobby signs off on her as a legit rapper. So, that's I mean, but regardless of that, she has some very consistently decent verses so far in Young Posse that she self-writes. And beyond that, when you're collabing with Bobby after one debut, you haven't even had a comeback yet. You only have a debut, and you're remixing your song featuring legit K-hip-hop rappers and a legit Western rapper. It's like, I'm so excited to see what she could do. We got Shin Jimin. Check out Second World. She had a really solid rap on there. Her stuff, her vocal tone can be very off-putting to some people, but she can get it done with some very consistently good flows. S.coups, most of his really cool stuff was back in 2016, 2015 when 17 still did a lot of hip hop, but they do a hip hop song every once in a while, and he has decent bars in that, and he's still probably the best rapper in 17. Very solid, especially with them not focusing on hip hop right now. What he's able to do in these like non-hip hop focused songs is really fun to hear, and excited to see what else he can do. Jenny, again, she's written a few of her raps. The reason she is not any higher is if you ask any Blackpink stan, 9 times out of 10, if you ask what's Jenny's best rap, what are they going to tell you? Do. How long ago was that it dropped? Like 6 years, coming up with 6 years. It's like, it's a really good rap. Do. And she has some decent stuff in between. But at the end of the day, I can't put her higher. But again, she definitely deserves being solid, especially not writing 25 to 50% of her raps. When she's only writing less than 25%, I think this is a well-deserved place in this area. And it's like, what? Number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It's to the top 15 in girl groups. But yeah. Boop. Wonhyuk of Super Junior, one of the most underrated idol rappers. He's actually kind of cracked, and he's an idol rapper. Some of the flows he does is actually really cool to listen to. He's very much slept on because he's in a group like Super Junior, but yeah, if you've never heard Wonhyuk rap, definitely check out some Super Junior stuff. I wish I had some recommendations. I know Dear 2 is a pretty good one, beyond just being fast. But yeah, there. I'm sure you can find some Super Junior fans who would have recommendations of Wonhyuk. He has some beyond decent raps to listen to, and especially in a group like Super Junior is really interesting. Changbin of Tri B, very consistently good with a lot of potential. She has a lot of potential. Now, is she ever going to hit that potential? I don't know, because Tri B doesn't really ever let her rap that much, but when they do let her rap, she comes up with something pretty creative sometimes, and it is self-written, not like, again, it's less than 25%, as you can see with the red dot here. But when she does self-write, it's pretty, actually pretty interesting. BM of Card is actually a decent to above average rapper, but his lyrics recently have been so thirsty and cringy. I can't place him any higher than this because of it. Lisa, Queen of Delivery. She has a really good delivery. I know there's a lot of controversy on that, but at the end of the day, controversy gives attention, and attention means good publicity. But beyond the controversy, her delivery is quite solid, and makes very catchy raps. Kind of think of what I said from Mark up here, in the tier above, but Lisa's like the girl group version. Everything she does is like super catchy, and she's really good at making pop raps, even if she's not necessarily, I guess, delivering pop raps in this case. So yeah, let's move on to the next line of solid. We have Tag of Golden Child. Not too much to say. Pretty solid rapper overall. Yeah, Golden Child Tag. Vernon of 17, very solid rapper. Used to be much better in 2016. Kind of, tapered off a little bit recently because, again, 17's not doing too much hip-hop. But yeah, Big of MC&D, same story with Win and Castle J, held back by the production of MC&D and the arranging team. Well, what can you do? But then he's also more dance-focused, I'm pretty sure. Suman of Psychers, Homeboy's probably his best rap. He has a lot of potential as well. Very standard raps, though, in the debut of Psychers, but he's come alive in this newer album. Fatu of Black Swan. Yeah, she actually blew up recently because of an interview where she was talking about good penmanship, which is a very good thing in rap. Important thing that K-pop doesn't necessarily go into too much. But her early stuff in Black Swan was very, I don't know if stereotypical is the right word, but very bland flows. However, she did have a new mixtape that came out a few months ago. That had, it spiced it up a bit. She had a lot more interesting stuff going on in there, and it bumped her up to solid for me. She has done quite a bit in that, and deserves the credit for this recent album that came out 2 months ago. BX of CIX, solid. I mean, he has some decent stuff. He has some mess stuff, and it kind of just lands him right in the middle. Yeon of CLC. She's in ELZ 7 up now. And it doesn't do shit in that group because they don't let her write her own stuff. But, if they did let her write her own stuff, she'd be quite good. Ginny of Secret Number, all of her good stuff is on her SoundCloud. Check out her SoundCloud if you want to hear her good rapping. Secret Number has some decent stuff, but yeah. It is what it is. Hyunsuk of Treasure has potential to be top tier. He's probably the lowest on this list with the highest potential. And because he's in Treasure, he doesn't get to rap as much as he should, and he doesn't get to rap as intensely as he should. He could be so good, especially listening to the stuff from Treasure Box. And that's what gets him in solid, because the Treasure raps and the Treasure rap lines really... I know Treasure fans love the rap line, and they are so proud of their rap line, but trust me, please hold YG to what you like. Don't be content with where they're at. They could be so much better. They really could be so freaking good. I promise. Hyunsuk could be top tier. I wish that, he was able to rap more than he does in sorry. I wish he was able to rap more in Treasure. Yuki of Purple Kiss. She started off really strong. Kind of fell off a bit in the recent years. She doesn't do anything too different or impressive recently, but it's still kind of fun to, hear her rap a bit. 1 second. Karin of Craxy had a really good year last year in Craxy. Craxy kind of went off with some ciphers last year. Check those out. She had some really interesting raps in those. Yubin of Wonder Girls. Apparently recently I found out that she has a 9+ syllable per second rap. I don't think it exists, but some random person with 12 followers on TikTok made a viral TikTok saying that she did, and everybody believes them. So I have to find out where Yubin did 9+ syllables per second. She's pretty good, especially her older stuff in Wonder Girls. Her stuff on Second World was very plain, and her newer age Wonder Girls raps are kind of meh. But she's here because of the older stuff in Wonder Girls mainly. So check those out. And then Bang Jungkook is Deep Voice God. Okay, moving on to the Jungkook's pretty solid though. Let's move on to the next tier. Missing one or two things. CL. I already know there's going to be somebody that comments saying that I'm stupid and my list is invalidated for putting CL here. Before you make this comment, because I know you're watching this part and you're sitting there already typing your comment out mad at me, please take off the rose-colored glasses, rose-colored earplugs, and listen to CL's rap in detail without visuals. It is very plain rap. Okay? What do I mean by that? She doesn't ever do, how everything I was talking about the top tier people before, you can even look at Soyeon, right? She doesn't really manipulate the music theory that much. She doesn't really manipulate her flows into doing really complex things. It's very standard flows. It's very standard delivery. She normally sounds around the same point in her tone and her delivery. She doesn't really do any complex rhyme schemes. It's a very standard thing, and the one thing she's missing is any of those. If she excelled in one thing, it would be really cool. You take the song Spicy, for example, right? She has a really intricate beat she's rapping over, and what does she do with that beat? Nothing. She raps eighth notes over this really intricate beat that would allow you to do a more intricate flow, and she raps eighth notes. And it's just
Excuse me? Excuse you.
Yes, that. But yeah, so it's her one excelling place though is her stage presence. She is really powerful, she's really badass, and it's really fun to watch her perform on stage. But that doesn't change the fact that her lyricism and her actual flows and rhyme schemes are very standard amongst girl group raps in K-pop, especially nowadays. Every year I say this, I'm wanting to be different, but every year I get people in my comments yelling at me. So please introduce me to a CL rap that's actually I've heard Chuck, I've heard Spicy, I've heard all the raps, okay? But again, if you want to try to reconvince me, go ahead, okay? But she is very much looked at for her badass delivery and being the first one to really give a girl crush concept in a rap. Anyway, let's move on. We got Jooheon of SF9. Basically stands out for his stuff in High School Rapper. And that's the main reason he's here. His SF9 stuff usually is second to ZUHO. And his rap on, It's One with Bobby and Sunwoo is kind of... So, yeah, I just need him to do more what he did in High School Rapper in actual K-pop. So, yeah, it brings us to Hui of TNX. Still young, very solid rapper, just missing some more raps. I would love to hear him do more intense things going on in the full... Because she's saying. Anyway, I'd love to hear him... I love to... he got a SoundCloud. Okay, well... Okay, still, I'd love to hear him do more intense things in the future. Dami of Dreamcatchers fallen off heavy in the past 3 or so years. Whew, I can already hear. I love Dreamcatcher, by the way, But if you compare Dami's raps in like 2020 of like Black and White and Red Sun, and even going back earlier than that in like 2019, and you compare those raps to what we get in 2023 and 2022, like it's just not the same level. It's very standard rapping. When you get Odd Eye, that's just like quarter note triplets, and that's it. With some eighth notes. It's just like, cool. Yeah. And then her cover of Soyeon's Oh My God was very unenthusiastic for me. So she's lowered quite a bit. Yechan of DKB has like one or two really good raps. I would just love to hear him do that more. You look at I forgot the name of it though. There's this one really cool rap in a DKB song, but he doesn't get to do it that often. But that's what gets him up here. Taeyong kind of the same in WeI. All In, yes, it was All In. Thank you, Napo. Taeyong in WeI is kind of the same thing. He has like one or two really cool raps. He's very much similar to Yechan in that regard. So yeah, we have Hongjoong of Young Posse. Really cool delivery. She has high potential. And yeah, she's just missing more raps. They just debuted. She doesn't have the collab with Bobby that Sunye had and all that. But she does self-write and all that, and yeah, she's a really cool delivery. I think she could be really big one day if Young Posse takes off. Ray of Ive. I know Ive don't really have hip-hop centered songs, and she's consistently able to do solid raps on each of them. I just need her to have an actual hip-hop song where she goes off in. Wonjun of Elas, kind of Wonhyuk's number 2. He has some actually decent raps in Elas. Obviously not to Wonhyuk's level, but, you know, there's every once in a while I'm listening to an Elas song and I'm like, okay, Wonjun, sheesh. Big Sung, he is super popular because he does really quick, fast raps. He's like the Zelo of 4th gen. I need him to have more variety than just having that super quick part for 2 seconds in each song. I know he's kind of getting away from that, which is good. But yeah, he could be really cool. Lola of Pixie has some really good raps as well, especially, you know, the past few albums. She's really stood out with, like, you know, a delayed 30-second note in there. She's had some more intricate flows, at least on a girl group level. She just needs to do it on a more longer basis because all of her flows or all of her raps are normally like 4 bars. Uncover it. Thank you. I'm so sorry. I'm so invested in talking that I'm forgetting to move it down. My apologies, everyone. Jooheon of Boy Next Door, high potential. We'll see what he can do. I hear the potential. He hasn't really done anything too impressive yet, but he definitely could. I definitely hear it. You think raps like "but sometimes" could be really good one day. Min Sung of Tiat could be really cool as well one day. Has a really cool rap in Tiat as well. Yoshi of Treasure, the new song, the new rap on their recent comeback. I forgot the name of it. He did, like, you know, little sex couplets in there. Really fun to listen to. But like Hyunsuk, I need Treasure to actually let the rappers rap, and they don't. They're kind of like at the same point MC and D was at, where it's like they're supposed to be really good, but they never get to rap. And when they do, it's very Bona, thank you. It's very straightforward. Shiyun of Billy, kind of the second to Moon Sua, doesn't really write her own raps either, but she's solid. She covered a Hound verse. She should get credit for that. Jeff, probably the most potential in EPEX, if EPEX let the rappers rap. We're getting to the point where it's like, you know, you can hear the potentials in these idols, if they were allowed to rap more. And that's basically Jeff, you know. Then we get to Jongjun of Golden Child. You know, he's tagged, but, you know, probably a little bit less creative flow-wise. Yoonjung of High Cutie actually has some decent stuff. I think her delivery still needs a bit, is still a bit rough. Just needs some smoothing out with experience, but, you know, she's continuously getting better. Yuto of Pentagon. Yeah. Pentagon's not going to be releasing to anymore. I'm pretty sure they lost like 5 members recently, so I don't know how many more Yuto raps are going to get, but yeah, so I can't really say he has high potential, but, you know, Pentagon never really let them go off completely, other than like Kerberos and stuff. And then Kunhee of Tiat, they both had the same the same song. They did a collab, like just the 2 of them on a Tiat song. And I think Minsung just had a slightly better verse, so, you know, he's above Kunhee. And then that brings us to Very mid. I'm just gonna run through the names. If you have questions, you can tell me in the comments. Because this is pushing over an hour and a half video now. And I don't want to make you guys sit there too much longer. ZB1, Gunuk has really cool stuff outside of ZB1, because he never raps in ZB1. But, you know, he had a survival show and stuff before ZB1 where that he actually had some decently good raps. GK of DKB's had some decent raps. It's very much filler most of the time. Lido, very much filler raps in One Us, even though he's gonna have to pick up the weight that, you know, Rocky left, because Rocky was more of like the center point in the rap line, and Lido was the deep voice guy. He's gonna have to do more of what Rocky did. Jin of Astro. Wait, Rocky? Oh my god, I was seeing Rocky applies to Jin. Raven applies to One Us. I am so sorry. Literally two rappers in the exact same situation. Both of their lead guys left. I guess main rapper. Both main rappers left. Both start with the letter R. And, yeah. So, Lido and Jin. Yeah. Very much a similar position. Jin, obviously best rapper in K-pop as of 2021. Don't let us forget that. That's a meme. Don't take that seriously. Young K of Day 6. Kind of what I said back for Giuk. K bands don't really focus on rap. So Young K's never really had anything that blew my mind. Just very much filler rap. And that's kind of what this tier is. Woojin had some more impressive stuff on this new ITZY album. It's nothing mind-blowing, but it's good for what ITZY is. Felix, again, has some interesting flows every once in a while, but mainly just raps what Changbin gives him, or Jiseong gives him, and he has a deep voice, and people love deep voices, and that's pretty much Felix. Rocky wasn't the main rapper, technically. He was the lead rapper. Well, Rocky should have been the main rapper. He was better than Lido. Then we have Giselle, and I know a lot of people that are aespa and ITZY fans fight who's the better rapper, and people go Giselle because she had Sync. But the fact that she had Sync 4 years ago, it's like, okay, cool. She wrote a cool rap 4 years ago. What has she done since then? Nothing. There's been nothing that aespa's done that ITZY hasn't done in their group songs. I know it's kind of like, you know, a lot of like, you know, ITZY fans think Woojin's like miles above Giselle, and aespa fans think Giselle's miles above Woojin, but at the end of the day, yeah. Anyway, moving on. Okay, I'm sorry, they're right next to each other. Fine. Rocky should be the main rapper of Astro. Raven should be the main rapper of One Us. Lido and Jin should be the lead rappers because they're both just the deep voice guys that, you know, complement the main rapper. And the fact that they're not, it's a very similar situation that I'm just realizing because they're right next to each other. Moving on. Hyunjin of ATBO, very consistent rapper. Kind of filler though, because you don't really listen to ATBO for the raps. JU21 has one really good rap in a performance, and other than that is just kind of filler in 2-1. EU of Everglow never gets to rap more than 4 bars, and I know a lot of Everglow stands are like, you know, adamant that EU's a top rapper until the day that she's consistently getting 8 to 16 bars in a rap and like, you know, consistently moving that rap along and self-writing most of them. I can't do that. Yeah, Eric of the Boys, again, this is all just like a pattern. These are like the rappers that are like the B-sides to their main rapper, right? A lot of the boys in here, at least. And that's kind of what Eric is to Sunwoo again. Deep voice, kind of the secondary rapper after, you know, you hear Sunwoo go. Jooheon of ATBO is kind of the similar position as Hyunjin. I just think Hyunjin's slightly better. Ruka of Baby Monster, she didn't write her own rap in the one thing that we got. She had some cool, you know, pre-debut covers and stuff. Can't give her too much credit at this point because Asa wrote her rap, to my knowledge. Dolan has a really cool bar in Mac and Cheese that she self-wrote, and that's really cool. Excited to see what she does in the future. Can't give her too much credit because that's the only rap she's written so far. I hope she gets to write more in the future. Jin has 2 solo rap songs that are good. Rocky doesn't, but okay. Hey, are you... Do we need to go back up and discuss Jinjin more, Heifa? Oh my god, you're serious. Oh my god, you're serious. There's no way you're serious. Okay, I can't. No. I'm going to put my foot down. I'm putting my foot down. Rocky is a better rapper than Jinjin. Rocky, if I was making this list with Rocky on it, Rocky would be up in impressive. Rocky has done so many more. I don't care he hasn't had the solo and Jinjin has. Rocky has done so much more impressive stuff. Jinjin is very standard rap-wise. Anyway, moving on. Rocky's not even on this list. Yeah, so hopefully Dolan does more in the future. Mill of Only One Of has one really cool rap song. Outside of that, it's kind of just filler and for the group rap. Next line, we got Uwa of Craxy. I have Karin above her. I think Karin's slightly more impressive in the Craxy solos that we've had, even though Uwa has the fastest rap between all of them. Taesan has some interesting stuff. I think his counterpart of Jooheon has a lot more potential, but Taesan can definitely get her done, and hopefully we get to hear more from him because we didn't get to hear too much from Taesan in their debut year. So we'll see what happens this year. Odie of Extraordinary Heroes, again, K-Band doesn't really focus on rap. He's done a cover of the band did a cover of Stray Kids' Elevator, which was pretty impressive. But overall, the rap in Extraordinary Heroes isn't anything mind-blowing. Hyuna of 4 Minute, very much overhyped, very standard rapping, especially for girl groups. I know it's self-written, but at the end of the day, it's still very much straightforward. The 8-Turn Boys, I have them right next to each other because they haven't been around that long. I can't really pick one above the other at this point. So they're, if you wanted to switch them around like this or something, like that's completely valid. I have no opinion either way, but yeah, so far, nothing like mind-blowing from 8-Turn. Very just standard K-pop rapping so far. Sunwoo of Classy, very standard rapping besides the fact that she showed some potential in Second World. I haven't heard her hit that in a song from Classy yet, but we'll see if she can do it. It was kind of rough though in Second World, but then she is also very young, so we'll see if that comes up in the future. Hwarang of Tempest, very standard rap. Again, we have a very solid pattern going on here. Very standard rapping in this section. Julie, Kiss of Life, some of it's self-written, I know, but very standard rapping. Nothing like mind-blowing from Julie, even lyrically. Haruto of Treasure, the weakest Treasure rapper for me. Nothing, again, all of these, I could just say this or this. There's nothing really mind-blowing. I will make a little notation from Yoonjia. She did cover Youngji's rap, and it was really impressive delivery-wise, which gets her to very mid. But overall, the stuff that she's done in Mimi Rose isn't anything that I can really put too much weight on. But that cover of Youngji is probably the best thing so far. So yeah, and then Rinji's still brand new in Pixie, so we'll have to see more from her. So let's get to the bottom tier, which is the Copium tier. Whew, almost done. We've got our first thing, Yeonjun of TXT. He should sing more. I'm sorry. I know TXT fans are so proud of him, and you should be. He's a great singer. He's a decent rapper. His rap is filler in TXT. TXT should not have rap in their songs. Like, you can think of Puma, right? And it's like, wow, so cool, whisper rap. It's super straightforward 16th notes. There's nothing too mind-blowing in that. Yuna, I felt like she had more potential at one point. And, with this new album, it's kind of fallen back down. She has a really cool fast rap in #20, and people hype her up more than they should. She's a vocalist, dancer, not really a rapper at the end of the day. Alan and Serum, they've been around for years now. What has it been, 4 years, going on 5? They still do not have and I've listened to almost everything that they put out, unless there's some hidden thing I'm missing. There's not been a single release from Gravity where I listen to the raps and I go, sheesh. I think I would put Serum over Alan, though. I should flip them around. But beyond that, it's just like, it's been so many years. I got to put them on Copium now. I'm beyond disappointed. I'm just like, bro, you're from the same agency as Monsta X, and Monsta X have at least one rap per album that you're like, but I can't think of one for Gravity. Hikaru of Kepler, insane pre-debut stuff, done nothing in Kepler. I hope she joins XG. And I hope she goes off in XG. Taeyong of Twice. If I asked you what's Chaeyoung's best rap, you'll either say Icon because it's really long, even though it's extremely basic, or you'll say something from 16. 16 was 9 years ago. The fact she hasn't done a better rap in 9 years, and like 16 doesn't have any mind-blowing raps. They're solid. All of Twice's stuff, it's like, you know, at the end of the day, it's like she hasn't soloed, she hasn't done anything mind-blowing at the end of the day. It's like, I gotta put her on copium at this point. It's like, what are we expecting from Chaeyoung? She's constantly flipping back and forth with Daya, never getting to do more than 8 bars, and when it is, it's like Icon, it's just eighth notes. It's like, there's only so much you can do. Karina of Aespa. You'll have people tell you that Karina's really good. I don't think so. I think she's a vocalist that's put down sometimes the rep. I think she's messed up in a few songs. And yeah, so she's down here for me. Jooheon of 4 Minute. I'm gonna make a last second change. I think we can actually put Jooheon up here. I think she should go to mid with Hyuna. I think she's much more closer to Hyuna than people give credit for. Last second change. We've got Gal of Ive. Yeah, I mean, with the amount that Ive raps, there really is no need for a second rapper, so she really gets scraps, and it's really hard for me to listen to sometimes. Like, it's not bad, it's just like, why is she rapping? When people go like, K-pop doesn't need raps, why are they rapping? This is one of those times where I'm just like, why is Gal rapping? She should just be singing. You already have Ray, and you can barely get Ray enough shit. Like, so, yeah. Asha of Everglow is here. Woojin of Kingdom, and we'll just finish this off right here. Woojin of Kingdom, Seungchan of Rise, Dahyun of Twice as well, like Chaeyoung, but to the lesser extent of previous raps in 16 that were impressive. Aiden of Epex, I just haven't heard enough from him. Irene is very much a vocalist, and they just make her rap because they want rap because it's K-pop. Dahyun of Kepler's, and I've never heard her do anything impressive. Shotaro of Rise, it's still pretty early to hear him, and Seungchan, even though they've done stuff in NCT, but again, nothing like super memorable, so we'll see what they can do. And then Jooheon, I think he's had like 2 raps ever, but he's on here, so he gets to go down here. So here's the final tier list. Feel free to yell at me in the comments. I did my best to explain it fully. I know this video is super long, so I didn't get to go in depth on everyone, but yeah, I hope I explained it kind of well. I was trying to be as fair as possible. This is coming from me. I have listened to every single rapper on this list. Again, if you want to critique me for not putting your fave higher, I beg you to please listen to the people that you are putting your fave above. And not just like the one rap that you see on the top results on YouTube, typing in their group and thing, right? Like if you are a IM stan and you love Monsta X and IM and you're like, he should be top tier. He should be like, you know, a couple spots below Jooheon. Right? He should be above J.Seph. Like, if you want to make that claim, and that's perfectly fine, please tell me in the comments. But please go through, and anybody that you've never heard of before, listen to 3 to 4 of the raps from them. Try to find some, like, you know, 3 to 4 raps, some compilations, and listen to them. And have an understanding of, like, you know, why I put I am where I put I am. Or if you want, like, Chanyeol should be in More Than Impressive, above J-Hope. Listen to the other people that you're putting Chanyeol above if you haven't heard them. So that's all I ask of you. If you made it to the end, thank you so much. Yo, shout out to all my patrons. I appreciate you guys so much. I'm not going to have you rolling the screen because we're doing this live, but shout out to everybody on Patreon. I appreciate you guys for being there. Sorry this video ended up being like almost 2 hours long, but I hope you enjoyed this 2 hour sit through of me tier listing rappers and explaining why they are where. And I hope it was at least a little entertaining for everyone. So thank you, chat, for popping in. Thank you, everybody, for watching on YouTube. I'll see you guys in the next video. And yeah, one last thing. Please don't use this and ask me, is Winter tier 7? Should Winter be tier... What tiers? If you went 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Should Winter be tier 7 or tier 8? Please don't do that. These tiers aren't numbered for a reason. I don't want people to ask me number tiers. Please don't ask me which number tier is Wendy on, which number tier is Seunghwa on. I beg you. I can't deal with those comments. Anyway, thank you all for watching. I appreciate it. Have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your day, everyone. And I'll catch you all in the next video. Bye, everyone.